Hey everyone, good evening, good evening. So I'm walking home after going to eat, and I thought while walking home I would share a interesting fun fact. Burt Ward, do you remember him from Batman and Robin? He was Robin. Did you guys hear the story about what happened back in the day with him?
Hello. If you ain't rocking with Jody, you ain't rocking. Y'all tell me about? Hello.
Welcome to the Jody Joe Show, where it's just Jody dropping straight jewels.
Have you guys heard of the Catholic League of Decency? Well, they were harassing the hell out of Batman and Robin during the time of the show was taping. So you guys might remember the times that, it was being filmed. It was quite a while back. So the decency standards were definitely different then than they are now. So this place was actively picketing and saying that they wanted them removed from television because of their outfits. Because, the outfits they were very revealing on their genitalia. So after a few complaints, the networks decided to try to adjust the show a little bit to appease them, because they knew that they couldn't get them pulled off the air altogether, but they could get it to where certain sponsors might not want to work with them if they were to continue down the line and if they thought that they were being indecent and it didn't represent their brand. So they at first tried to cover it by not showing as much in the scenes, by telling the guys, hey, I need you to tuck it. Now, tucking it, I guess, only works so far. It doesn't really work if you are doing fight scenes, because as you know, Batman and Robin were constantly doing karate chops and pow, bang, boom. So they're the Catholic Decency League is worried that their dick is, going to be popping out and shit. So that didn't work. So then they tried to adjust it again. They said, okay, well, we'll try to show less. So what they ended up doing was they would try to show the scenes where the cape would be covering their parts. So if they're laying down and their frontal view was showing through their costume, they would then just put the cape in a position where it would cover that part. But it still wasn't enough. So it got so bad that it got to the point where the network said, look, we want you to go see this doctor. And he's like, huh? He said, this doctor is going to prescribe a medicine for you that's going to shrink your testicles temporarily. Pardon? Yes, don't worry, it won't cause any problems. It won't give you any health side effects. You'll still be able to have children after. It's not going to affect any of these things. So he was like, shit, what do I do? He had just turned 19. He was playing the part of Robin on the show. He's under a contract. He wanted to make this money. He wanted, so he didn't know what else to do. So he decided, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do what the network says, and I'm going to go see their doctor. So they go, and he gets prescribed this medication. And this medication, he said, just take this once a day. It's not going to have any massive side effects, but you're just going to notice that temporarily it'll appear smaller in the genitals, because the balls will retract back up into themselves, which in turn will make your penis to look smaller. So they thought that would be enough for the show set. So they started doing that. He returned to work, but still the League of Decency was saying, no, it's still not enough, So he was taking this medicine, and everyone's complaining. And on the third day of taking the medication, he was like, I can't do this anymore, because I guess something started to happen. And he was starting to feel, whoa, I almost dropped my phone. He was starting to feel the effects of the medicine. It was basically like a medical castration. It's basically what they were doing to him. But it turned out that it didn't have any long-term effects, because he had already had one child. He had just had his wife, or girlfriend, I don't remember if he was married or not, had just given birth. So he ended up, after the show, even after he stopped the medicine and everything, he ended up having another daughter. So he has 2 daughters. And he said that the show said, because he went back to the network and was like, fuck it, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm not willing to put all this on the line for the network. He said he asked other people, other actors, other producers, and they were all like, no, hell no, I wouldn't do it either. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to them and tell them. And he did. He said, I'm not going to do this anymore. You could fire me, you could fine me, you could do whatever you want to do, but I'm just not going to do it. But the network was so invested that they didn't want to risk losing that prime spot, because they were actually #1. When they first started, they were #1. So they held that spot for a very, very long time. So the networks didn't want to lose him. So they said, okay, don't worry about it. You no longer have to take this medication. And they just dealt with it. And that's how it went for the rest of the show season. So there's a little bit of history for you guys. Have a good one.